Let's get you a check on the intense cold. North India continues to shiver with cold day conditions prevailing in most parts of the northwest plains. When we talk about visibility levels this morning in the national capital, no visibility whatsoever, especially around the airport area is what the Met Office has said. Visibility down to nil at the airport. When we talk about the maximum temperature at the airport, the maximum temperature coming in at 15 degrees, that's 5 degrees off the mark. Within the city limits, the maximum temperature at 18 degrees is 2 degrees below normal for this time of the year. When we talk about Chandigarh, the temperature is coming in at 12 degrees, that's 6 degrees colder than usual. So is the case in Amritsar at 11, Patiala 7 degrees colder, and in Amritsar the visibility down to about 25 meters, as so is the case in Chandigarh as well as Ambala, where visibility levels between 25 to 50 meters. When we talk about dense fog conditions, those are going to continue in Punjab, in Haryana, in Chandigarh, Delhi, as well as the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh. Cold day to very severe cold day conditions are prevailing in Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, as well as Uttarakhand. Cold wave conditions prevailing in Rajasthan, where ground frost is also expected today along with Uttarakhand. We have my colleague Nukul joining us to get us a sense of how cold it is. Nukul, take us through how visibility levels are down to zero this morning at the airport. How badly has it affected the air and rail traffic?
Well, absolutely. Dense fog engulfs the national capital, and you've rightly mentioned that zero visibility was recorded at the Palam airport this morning, and it's expected for 1 hour at least. That is going to continue to prevail at the same amount of visibility there at the Palam airport, while at the same time in Safdarjung, less than 200 meters visibility has been recorded. Dense to very dense fog has been expected by, as stated by the IMD, that dense to very dense fog is expected in some isolated parts of the Haryana, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh, and also in Delhi. But today dense fog engulfs the national capital. We come to you from Kartavya Path, and you can see the dense fog and the visibility, which is less than 200 meters, but yet the rehearsals for 26 January is continue to going on. Some forces and their bands are marching and the contingents are marching here at the Kartavya Path, practicing since 6 a.m. in the morning. But at the same time, you can see the visibility behind me. You can see that India Gate, which is just 200 meters away from where we are standing, but the visibility, due to less visibility, it's barely visible. The dense fog engulfs the national capital. At the same time, zero meters visibility was recorded at the Palam airport around 7:30 hours. At the same time, it's going to continue for some time to come in this particular matter. And also, what we are also given to understand that 23 Delhi-bound trains are also delayed owing to the dense fog over the national capital.
Right. Thank you so much, Nukul, for joining us with all those details. To get a sense of what the situation is like and what it's going to be in the next few days, we have Mahesh Palawat of SkyMed joining us. We also have Dr. Anita Ramesh, Senior Consultant Medical Oncologist of Apollo Specialty Hospital. We also have Dr. Sanjay Sachdeva joining us. He is the ENT specialist from Max Hospital in Delhi, as well as Dr. Manish Bharti, the HOD and Interventional this is from the Department of Critical Care Medicine, Sharda Hospital. Let me go across to Mahesh Palawat first. Mahesh, first things first, how cold is it? Is this winter harsher than usual?
See, Divya, we have seen that temperature dipping, particularly day temperature dipping since last 10 days or so over many parts of North India, particularly Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. But now the temperatures will start increasing, particularly day temperature, because sun will be out and for more duration. But the minimums are also going to drop significantly. Yesterday, we have seen sub-zero temperatures in Sikar and some parts of Rajasthan, and the Churu and Pilani, Narnaul, all these areas were in the range of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. So we can say now the day temperature will start increasing, but dip will be there in minimum temperatures in coming days. So we can say average temperature is little warmer than usual for month of December, as well as first day 10 days of January. Yeah.
Right. Let's go across to Dr. Sanjay Sachdeva now. Doctor, wherever one goes, one can hear people sneezing or coughing. Are you seeing a sharp spike in cases? Is this winter harsher than usual? And is it taking people longer to recover?
Yeah, Divya, that's right. Absolutely. This winter is certainly harsher than usual. And that is what all the weather reports are saying. We are getting a lot of upper respiratory infections in the outpatient department. People are coming with runny nose, nasal blockage, congestion, cough, sore throat, fever, headache. And so for us to decide whether it is something of concern or not, or it's just a routine virus which is floating around, which does at this point in the year. So difficult to say, but certainly there is a huge number of upper respiratory infection, including lower respiratory infections, which are coming up in the hospital scenario.
Right. Dr. Manish, Bharti, is it taking people longer to recover given the fact that there's been a drastic drop in temperatures from what we're seeing up until, the late December? It wasn't getting cold at all as far as the day temperatures are concerned. And now we're seeing the cold day and cold wave conditions are prevailing, and it's just happened way too fast. So the body hasn't really been acclimatized to that particular change that's come about.
So thank you, Divya. Thank you for having me here. Certainly, I would say that certain segment of population, for example, the people who have been having certain disease like heart disease, the patient who are already having a certain lung disease, or elderly patient, more specifically, if you're seeing the patients in the higher age group, the extremes of the age, and the patients who have been having some kind of immunodeficiency syndrome, in those kind of cases, we certainly see that they are taking times to recover, right? And in fact, the simple chest infection or the simple URI, the upper respiratory tract infection, has a tendency to get complicated. And being an intensive care expert, we see a lot of difficult cases, especially in the last 15 days, which we have been able to witness. So certainly to a certain predisposed population, yes. But if you're talking about overall the population, the people who are not having any risk factors like the young patients and all, definitely not in that case.
Right. We also have Dr. Anita Ramesh joining us. Ma'am, there is a lot of confusion. I mean, of course, we do know COVID is back with JN1 being the variant. Tell us that, a lot of people might just think that this is a viral. This is that time of the year that people fall sick. Everyone around me is sick, so this must not be COVID. I mean, is this preventing people from getting tested?
Yes. In winter, this virus keeps coming back. And we know these virus undergoes mutation and it can come back again and again. We had previously 5 times, 7 times waves with the genetic material changing. Yes, now we have a COVID JN1, which is a descendant of the previous one, many of them. And some of my patients are also become positive. I'm being a cancer specialist. We see all the immunocompromised patients out here is positive. So, but we cannot differentiate clinically whether it is respiratory syncytial virus or it is an influenza virus or it is a COVID virus until and unless tested. Again, you cannot be testing all people having cold, cough and sneezing. So what we tell our patients, if you have cold, if you have cough, if you have sneezing, sore throat, isolate yourself. Stay at home. Do not come to the workplace. And if your symptoms are deteriorating, like temperature increasing, sneezing is more, you have breathing difficulty, you are feeling tired, chest condition, severe pain in the throat, then report to the hospital. And then we encourage everybody to we have a respiratory panel of testing, which includes respiratory syncytial virus, that is RSV. We have the influenza virus tested, H1N1, and the COVID virus testing. We do the respiratory panel and accordingly we start the treatment. So my suggestion is that isolate. Okay. And if symptoms deteriorate, go to the hospital, get tested and get tested.
Let me get Dr. Sanjay Sachdeva in for this. Doctor, it's very difficult to differentiate whether this is a viral, whether this is COVID, whether it's a bacterial infection. We just can't obviously know. How does one prevent oneself, especially given, when you're out and about, especially when you're at work? How can you protect yourself from everyone around you, perhaps coughing or sneezing?
Yeah, Divya, I think that's the key point actually. If you can prevent yourself from getting infected from whatever is happening in whether it is HSV or influenza or COVID, we don't know clinically. We can't really differentiate initially, and only tests can tell you later. But by that time, we've already infected other people. So I think we have to go back onto mask, isolation, hand hygiene. And isolation has been rightly pointed out that if you have upper respiratory symptoms of whatever kind, it's best to isolate and not get it into the market. So if you can take few days off and see how things are, maybe 5 days off, and then see whether your symptoms are deteriorating or they're getting improved, and then you can go back on your work. But I would feel that proactive prevention would be much better, that avoid crowded places, avoid getting exposed to colds, maintain hygiene, maintain hydration, wear masks. And so I think these things would go a long way. And of course, hand hygiene again has
way
to come back.
to boost up immunity in these circumstances.
I think what you need to do is to maintain hydration. Hydration is very important. And like people who are immunocompromised, they have to be extra careful because they are the ones who are going to get caught with any viruses, especially the JN1, and then they can get into complications. So that is, and mask is very important.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay Sachdeva, Dr. Anita Ramesh, as well as Dr. Manish Bharti, as well as Mahesh Palawat from SkyMed. Thank you for getting us all those details.